YouTube viewers, my name is Brandon and this is Toronto Mod Shop. In this video, I'm basically going to be repainting the wheels on my car and putting on new hubcaps. Obviously the best option when it comes to making the wheels look better is to buy new wheels that look good, because right now it's steelies and hubcaps, the OEM hubcaps. But I don't really want to spend a lot of money on this car right now, because I just started work. If you watch the update video that went up with this one, or same day as this one, you'll know that I'm working at Subaru now, so a lot of my money is going into tools and transportation. So cheap alternative to new wheels is obviously repainting the steel wheels because they're rusty, and I bought new hubcaps. Total cost of this is going to be about $60 or $70 compared to hundreds of dollars for nice new wheels. When I say repaint the wheels, I'm not going to be like stripping them down and priming them, and cleaning them, and painting them, and polishing them up. I'm basically going to sand off the rust, spray the rust with some reformer, and then give the wheels a coat of matte black. That way they look good under the new gunmetal hubcaps. So let's take a look. I'm going to include some pictures of what the wheels look like now, and then I'll kind of bring you guys through the process of refinishing them. This could be kind of a how-to to do cheap wheel painting or hubcaps.
Alright guys, so this is how the wheel looks now with the hubcap on and with the hubcap off. As you can see, it's all rusted and nuts are rusty and needs work.
Alright guys, so here's what I have. Basically, I'll tell you what each thing's for when I use it. Basically what I have to do, this project: zip ties, rust reformer, wheel paint, cordless impact with the 21mm, some white cards, you'll see what those are for, respirator, breaker bar, new lug nuts, the new hubcaps, and I'm going to show you guys the comparison between the old and new. I think the new ones look a lot better. Alright guys, so let's get started with the first step, which is getting the wheels off. So what you're going to want to do, I'm not going to show you guys how to do this, but jack the car up or lift it on the hoist. Put it, if you're using a jack, make sure you put it on stands, because jacks do fail, and then I don't want any of you dying trying to paint your wheels. So let's get the wheels off. Alright guys, so as you can see, the car is up on stands. I left the jack in there, but I put the stands there in case the jack fails, because once the wheels are off, I don't want the car dropping onto the brakes, so it'll damage them. So basically, next step after the car is up is to take the wheels off. Basically, I'm only going to be showing you guys the process of two wheels. So I'll do the front two wheels, finish them, put them on, and then I'll lift the back and take the back ones off. But I don't see a point in showing you guys the same thing twice. So basically, like I said, I'll show you guys with the process for the front two. Alright guys, so front wheels are off. So now let's get started on finishing the wheels. Alright guys, so the first step is to take off this wheel weight. So that way you can paint where that is, sort of thing. What you're going to want to do is take either a tire, crayon, or really anything. So what I'm going to be doing is using a thin piece of painter's tape and just putting a line right there. That way I know where to put the weight back on. Alright, so let's take the weight off the wheel. Alright guys, so now the wheel weight is off. What I didn't mention that I did do, let me bring you guys a little closer so you guys can see, is I wrote the weight of the weight, which is 0.25 ounces, on the tape, and I did the same thing to the other one. You can see the green line. That one had a 1.0 ounce. So you can remember, because if you're doing two wheels or if you're doing four wheels, you might get the weights mixed up. So make sure you write down the weight on the piece of tape. Or if you're using a tire crayon, just write the weight down with an arrow or something like that. So basically the next step is to clean all the dirt off, so we can kind of assess the condition of the wheel. So take some degreaser, brake parts cleaner, really anything that, wheel cleaner, anything that'll clean the wheel basically, and clean off all the dirt. And then we'll go to the next step. Alright guys, so now that the wheel's been cleaned, we can move on to prep for paint. Well, basically the degreaser I used is this stuff here. It's called Auto Magic Red Hot. It's in a Windex bottle because it sprays better from this bottle, but if you want to look it up, it's Auto Magic Red Hot Degreaser. This is diluted 1 part degreaser, 1 part water, so it is really strong. So I recommend for you, if you're using a strong degreaser, wear a respirator, because my lungs are burning a little bit from inhaling this for the last couple minutes. So, wear a respirator. So basically, the next step is to kind of sand the rust down a little bit so it's level with the rest of the wheel. So what I'm going to be using is a very coarse Scotch-Brite pad, and then once the rust has been kind of sanded down, I'm going to use a little finer Scotch-Brite pad, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Alright guys, so now that I've kind of scuffed up the wheels, both the wheels, this one and that one over there too, but I'm basically showing you guys the process right here. It's easier to show it to you on one. Basically, now that I've exposed the rust, what you're going to do is get ready to paint. So you're going to give it one final clean. I'm going to be using a brake cleaner because that evaporates quickly. If you want to use a wax and grease remover or something along those lines, you can. So let's do that. Let's give it one final wipe down, and then we'll move on to getting ready to actually paint the wheel. Alright guys, so now that it's been given a final clean, what you can do now in preparation of paint is mask off your valve stem, which is right here for me. Wrap it in tape. If you're painting with the wheels off of the tires, like separate, then obviously if you want to, you can just remove the valve stems and put new ones in. But in my case, I don't want to disassemble the rim and tire, so I'm just going to mask that off. Another thing you're going to want to do is take either a deck of playing cards or some cue cards, which is what I'm using, and insert them around the wheel. I'll show you that process as I do it, just so you can kind of mask off the tire so it doesn't get paint on it. Alright guys, so now that the valve stem has been masked off, put you guys down here. What I'm going to do next is mask off the tire. Instead of just putting tape everywhere and covering the whole tire, the next easiest way to do it is to, bear with me for a second, I'm going to open up. There we go. Basically, take cue cards or playing cards and insert them like this. You get the point. Alright guys, so this is kind of how it's going to look when it's ready for paint. Let me pull the string out of the way. If you want to put the cards facing up, you're just going to kind of mask more of the tire off. Now that I think about it, I should have done it that way, but I'm not going to redo it. So, before you start painting, make sure that all of whatever you use to clean is dry. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but if you look closely in this crack right here, it's still wet. So I'm going to basically wait, let this dry, and go put the cards in that one. Alright, so let's wait for everything to dry up so that we don't have to redo the paint. So, see you guys in the next step. Alright guys, so now that that edge is kind of dry, what I'm going to be doing is taking the rust converter or rust reformer and just hitting the rust spots. That way they can stop rusting. What I gotta say, a little safety tip. The can says spray it in a well-ventilated area. A lot of people just kind of look over that, but just make sure you spray in a well-ventilated area. Because even with the garage open 6 inches, my head's hurting a little bit just from spraying a tiny bit. And also, obviously, shouldn't have to say this, but wear your respirator. Alright guys, so let's spray those little spots. Alright guys, so there's one medium to heavy-ish coat of Tremclad Rust Reformer on the rust spots, and the reason I did the whole lip is because the whole lip was rusty. So you're going to let that dry for about 20 minutes, then you're going to look it over, because by then it'll dry matte, and then you can kind of put on more as you need it. Alright guys, so now that this wheel has had all of its rust and exposed metal and everything like that covered in Rust Reformer, the next step normally would be primer, but like I said before, this stuff doesn't need primer over it. If you want to put primer over it, you can, obviously. Last time I used it was in the video a while ago. It was probably like my 4th or 5th video when I did the trunk refinish on my RX-7. When I did that, I did prime over it, but in this case I'm not going to. Like I said, the point of this is just to cheaply make the wheels look better. So now all I'm going to do is give this about 20 minutes to dry completely, and then I'm gonna move on to the top coat. Alright guys, so basically that Rust Reformer can was so old that it didn't spray out properly, and when I thought that it was coating, it actually wasn't. So what I did is I opened the garage and I looked at the wheel and I could still see all the rust. So what I did is instead I used that rust converter stuff, and that went on fine. What I realized with that stuff is it doesn't dry 100%. I thought it would, but it didn't. So I left it for about 20 minutes, half an hour, and it's not drying. So basically, I wiped what I could off, and the rust spots are still covered. So I'm going to move on to the next step, which is using dupli-color wheel coating in a high-performance satin black, and spray a couple coats on and see how it looks. If I could do all the wheels with one can, then that's fine, but I bought an extra can just in case. So let's put on the first coat. Like I said, wear your respirator. Make sure you shake your can for about a minute, so I'm going to stop the camera. I don't want you guys watching me shake the can for a minute, so let's skip ahead to that. Girly latex gloves, those are optional. Alright guys, time for first coat. Alright guys, so there's a light to medium coat. Give it about 15 minutes and then we'll put another coat on. Alright guys, time for the next coat. Make sure you keep the can shaken up. Not even sure if you guys can hear me. This coat can be a little heavier, but not heavy enough that it drips. So just watch the paint and you'll know how heavy to put it. Now, like I said, 10 to 15 minutes to dry. All coats within an hour. While this is drying, I'm going to go paint the other front wheel. And then after this, I think this might be the last coat. And then we'll move on from there. Alright guys, so the can says to do 3 coats, so put a 3rd coat on. I bought 2 cans. This can's still half full, so I could have done all 4 wheels with 1 can, but I'd rather have better finish and use 2 cans. It's only about 11 or 12 dollars a can, so whatever. Time for a 3rd coat. Alright guys, there's the 3rd coat on this wheel. In the meantime, while that's drying, I'm going to coat the other wheel. Basically, now that this is coated and the other one's going to be coated, you're going to give it about an hour to fully dry. And then once it's fully dry, we'll move on to putting everything back together. Alright guys, so as you can see, wheels are nice and dry. It's not as matte as I thought it was going to turn out. It's kind of like a semi-gloss, but whatever, looks better than it did before. So, still has about half an hour left to cure, and then I'll put it back on the car. I'm actually going to leave the hubcaps off until tomorrow, but for you that's only going to be a few minutes, so let's let it dry and then we'll get ready to put it back on the car. Alright guys, so it's time to put it back on the car. Like I said, I'm going to put the wheels on today, hubcaps tomorrow, but for you guys, you'll see the hubcaps in a couple minutes. These are the nuts that came on the car, and these are the ones that I'm going to put back on. These I found in the shed. They're left over from when I parted out my Honda Prelude, and they look a lot better than the rusted nuts that are on there. Alright, so let's get this on the car, and then you'll see what it looks like. Alright guys, so you've seen the 2 finished ones. So now all I'm really going to do is do the same thing here. I'm not going to show you guys the steps again, I'm just going to do it. So I guess I'll see you guys when the car's done.
Alright guys, so now that the wheels have been painted and there's new lug nuts, it looks 10 times better there, and with the hubcap on it looks even better.
So you got this far, you've seen what the car looks like. I think it looks 1,000 times better than it did before. Before the wheels were rusty and the hubcaps were all scratched and one of them was cracked. And about $65, $70 later, I say that because I only used half of the second can of paint, but still have to buy it, so let's say 70. Point is, 70 bucks and the car looks a lot better, and I didn't have to spend hundreds of dollars on new wheels. So if you liked it, tell me below. If you have any recommendations to better my videos, feel free to put them down in the comment section. I want to say thank you all for watching. Please comment, subscribe, and like and share the videos, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Alright, so here's how the car looks with the newly painted wheels and new hubcaps. Like I said, I think it looks a lot better and it makes the car look a lot better.